Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, text number 32. Saha Uttama Shloka Padabja Vishtaram Sa Uttama Shloka Padabja Vishtaram
the resting place. Prema Ashru, of tears of pure love. Upamehayan, moistening, muhuhu, again and again, prema uparuddha, choked with love, akhila, all, varna, of the letters, nirgamaha, coming up, na, not, eva, indeed, ashakat, was able, tam, unto him, prasamidhitum, to offer prayers, chiram, for a long time. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. With tears of love and affection, Chitraketu repeatedly moistened the resting place of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. Because his voice was choked in ecstasy, for a considerable time, he was unable to utter any of the letters of the alphabet to offer the Lord suitable prayers. Translation with repetition. With tears of love and affection, Chitraketu repeatedly moistened the resting place of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. Because his voice was choked in ecstasy, for a considerable time, he was unable to utter any of the letters of the alphabet to offer the Lord suitable prayers. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. All the letters of the alphabet and the words constructed by those letters are meant for offering prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maharaj Chitraketu had the opportunity to offer prayers to the Lord by composing nice verses from the letters of the alphabet. But because of his ecstasy, for a considerable time, he could not join those letters to offer prayers to the Lord. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, idam hi pumsas tapasa shrutasya va svishtasya sutasya cha buddhi bhattayo avichyatorthaka vibhir nirupito yaduttama shloka gunanu varnanam. If one has scientific, philosophical, political, economic, or any other abilities and wants perfection in his knowledge, he should offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by composing first-class poetry or engaging his talents in the service of the Lord. Chitraketu wanted to do this, but he was unable because of loving ecstasy. Therefore, he had to wait for a considerable time before he could offer prayers. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Jayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Uttama-shloka padhabja vishtaram premashuleshay upamehayan muhuhu premo paruddhakila varna nirgamo naivashakattam prasaminitum chiram. So this is the part of the Srimad Bhagavatam which is describing a great king like Chitraketu. This chapter is called Chitraketu Meets the Lord. So it's not a small thing to meet the Lord. And so here, he's seen the Lord. And at that time, what is happening to Chitraketu is being described here. Uttama shloka padhabja vishtaram. Krishna is another name for Krishna is Uttama shloka. Means one who is glorified with choice poetry. This is how Srila Prabhupada translated the word Uttama shloka in English. In this translation itself, Srila Prabhupada used wonderful poetry, wonderful translation, wonderful language. Uttama shloka, one who is glorified by choice poetry or chosen poetry. Meaning very special words to glorify the Lord because the Lord is glorious. So Uttama shloka padhabja vishtaram, at his lotus feet, vishtaram, the place, the resting place of the lotus feet of the Lord. There, what happened? Saha, Chitraketu, Maharaj Chitraketu, Premashuleshay upamehayan muhuhu. Premashru, he was feeling prema, love, ashru, tears, leshaihi, drops of tears, upamehayan, made that place wet. So you can imagine the experience that he was going through because of his love for the Lord. Premashuleshay upamehayan muhuhu. Repeatedly the drops were incessantly flowing, and that moistened the place of the resting place of the Lord's lotus feet. Uttama shloka padhabja vishtaram. So in this way, premo paruddha akila, prema uparuddha akila, because he was choked, his voice was choked. Varna nirkamo na eva ashakat. Varna nirkamaha, the words coming out from his mouth. Ashakat, he was not able to. Na ashakat, he was not able to bring words from his mouth. Varna nirkamo na eva ashakattam prasamidithum. Prasamidithum means seeing the Lord, meeting the Lord, calls for a celebration. But he could not celebrate. It calls for an important expression of prayers. Because he was meeting the Lord. It was not an ordinary thing. But na ashakat. He was not able to celebrate by offering prayers, varna nirkamaha, prasamidithum chiram, for a long time, because his voice was choked and tears were incessantly flowing. So this is what this shloka is about. The experience, and very nicely Prabhupada has translated, with tears of love and affection, premashru, Chitraketu repeatedly moistened upamehayan muhuhu, the resting place of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. Uttama Shloka Padhabja Vishtaram. Because his voice was choked, Premo Uparuddha, in ecstasy for a considerable time, Chiram, he was unable to utter any of the letters of the alphabet. Varna Nirgamo Na Ashakat. To offer the Lord suitable prayers, Prasaniditham. In order to offer prayers and celebrate the meeting of the Lord, he was not able to, because he was choked. So from this we see Srimad Bhagavatam is pointing out that each one of us have a relationship with the Lord, and that relationship is of love and affection. Now this message of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that each one of us have an intimate, loving, affectionate relation with the Lord, and when we must revive this relationship, we have forgotten that. We have to revive that relationship. This message of the Bhagavatam is considered to be a confidential message. This is a confidential message. Confidential. Krishna uses many times in the Bhagavad Gita also this word, confidential. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Etaduttamam. This knowledge is very confidential. Sarva Guhyatamam Bhuyaha Shrunume Paramam Vachaha. Now I'm going to tell you a very confidential thing. For a long time, when I first came in touch with Krishna consciousness, I used to have this question. Why is this called confidential knowledge? Because generally what we all understand by the meaning confidential, like in the government office, some files are called confidential files. What does that mean? The big officer will lock that file in the cupboard and keep the key in his pocket always. At the end of the day, when he's going home, he'll take all the confidential files, put it in the cupboard, lock it, put the key in his pocket and go. Rest of the files could be on the table. So why is this message in the Gita? Krishna is saying this is confidential. Because we in ISKCON have published millions of copies of this book and freely distributed all over the world. And before we started in ISKCON, there is the Gorakhpur Press. Some very nice, well-meaning, philanthropic people. They have been printing Bhagavad Gita, thousands and lakhs of copies in different languages in India, and have been distributing lakhs of copies. Where is the confidential? It's no more locked up in the cupboard. It's freely available everywhere. So why is this called confidential message? No, it is actually confidential. Srila Prabhupada explains why this is called confidential. What is the meaning of confidential message, confidential knowledge? Prabhupada explains, confidential knowledge means this knowledge is accessible only to a few people, few qualified people. Say for instance, Prabhupada gives this example. Say for instance, there is a man in the street. He is walking around in the street and then he sees State Bank of Mysore. He walks into the bank. He looks around. There are so many clerks and accountants and all of them behind the desk. And then he goes to the corner. There is one place. There is a grill place, and behind that cage there's a man sitting and it says cashier. So this man goes around looking, and then he goes to the cashier and he sees the cashier counting big notes. He looks up and says, "How much money you have got in the bank today?" The cashier will look at him. Who's this man? He will probably get the security to come and throw him out of the bank. Right? Now, 15 minutes later, the bank manager, he's going around doing his rounds. He's looking at everyone, they're writing, they're doing their jobs properly. And then he also comes to the cashier's counter and looks up and says and asks him, "How much money is there in the bank today?" And immediately the cashier stands up and says, Sir, there is 2,22,445 rupees. Okay. How much money is there in the bank is confidential information. It can be accessed by only persons who have the right qualification. The man from the street did not have the qualifications to know that information, whereas the bank manager had the requisite qualifications to know how much money is there in the bank. So, confidential knowledge means it requires certain qualification. Like say for instance, you are sitting in your house on a Sunday morning and there is a doorbell rings, and then you go to the door and open the door and there is a total stranger standing there. And then you don't know what to do. You're looking at him and then you ask him, yes. You want to be a little more gracious to him. And you ask him, yes, what can I do for you? And he stares at your face and he says, all the money you have earned in your life, where have you kept? What would you probably do? Probably slam the door on his face. How much money I have kept, I have saved? Who is this man? And you slam the door, lock it carefully, bolt it properly, and then come and sit on the sofa. And you're just recovering from the experience of the stranger asking about your personal money. And then the phone rings and you pick up the phone and then that's your mother calling. And your mother says, "Beta, all the money you have saved in your life, where have you kept? I hope it is all safe." And immediately you would say, no, mommy, don't worry. I have put it here, I have done this FD, I have invested here. Everything is safe. Okay, and how much all this adds up to? It all adds up to 2 crores something. Okay, very good, Beta. Thank you. You see? How much money you have earned and saved in your life is confidential information. Somebody walking out from the street or a stranger cannot have access to that information. Whereas your mother, she has the right qualifications and she can ask you and you will freely share with her that confidential information. So in other words, Krishna is now speaking in the Bhagavad Gita. He's saying that I'm speaking now something very confidential. Which means this requires certain qualifications. In fact, when Krishna says that I'm going to tell you something very confidential, in many occasions in the Bhagavad Gita, he says immediately after that, what is the requisite qualification also to understand that? Sometimes positive qualifications he mentions, sometimes negative qualifications he mentions. Like, for example, in the 4th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Sayevayam maya ketya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakacheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. He says, Arjuna, I'm going to tell you rahasyam hetaduttamam, uttama rahasya. I'm going to tell you. Rahasya, confidential. Guhyatamam, same word. So, I'm going to tell you something which is rahasya. But, I'm telling you this rahasya knowledge because bhaktosi me sakacheti rahasya hetaduttamam. Because you are my devotee and a friend, I'm sharing this confidential knowledge with you. So, in other words, the requisite qualification is to be a devotee of the Lord. In the 9th chapter, Krishna says, Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave. There also Krishna is saying, but a negative qualification. I'm going to share this knowledge with you because you are not envious of me. Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami. Pravakshyami, I'm going to share this with you. Guhyatamam anasuyame, because you are not having envy towards me. I've told this story, maybe some of you may remember, because this happened in Mysore. So it is interesting. Some time ago, we were looking for translators, maybe in the early 90s. And somebody to translate from Prabhupada's books into Kannada language. And I came across somebody, gave me in Bangalore, one good professor, teacher, writer, and he's from Mysore. So I made a trip to Mysore and I came and met him. And so I requested him that I want you to translate this book. And the book I was having, we had in mind at that time, and I gave him the book Raja Vidya, King of Knowledge. So it was a small book. He looked at it. He said, okay, do one thing. I just look at this book and meet me after about 15 days, one week or 15 days, something. And I will tell you. So I said, okay. And then left it at that and waited for some time. And then again I called him. And then he said, I'm coming to Bangalore. Come and meet me. I have some questions to ask about the book. So I said, okay. And I met him in Bangalore, in some place. And then he had the book with him, and he had made some markings in the book. And so he said, I have one question. It was right in the first or second or third page. And he had marked this. That book starts in the very beginning with this verse, Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave jnana vijnana sahitam yagnatva moksha se ashubha. This verse, and he has marked. And he said, you see, your Swamiji who has translated this book, he has said, I shall reveal this confidential knowledge to you because you are not envious of me. Anasuyave. But I refer to some other translations of the Gita. There they have not translated like that. I will reveal this knowledge to you because you are not envious. Prabhupada's translation says, envious of me. So this was the difference this scholar had found out. And he was saying, so I could not understand, why is it so? Krishna is only saying, I can't share this knowledge with you because you are not envious. You are a good man. So that's all what he is saying. But Prabhupada is saying, envious of me. Particularly. Because who is envious of God after all? I'm envious of my neighbor. I'm envious of my colleague. I'm envious of my competitor. But not envious of God. It appears like that. Isn't it? So, no, but actually, Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is particularly about we being envious of Krishna. Later on in the 18th chapter, okay, we'll come to that. Now, in the 18th chapter, towards the end, once again Krishna says, I'm going to reveal this confidential knowledge, and let's see what qualification Krishna mentions in that context. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha shrunu me paramam vachaha ishtosi me drudamiti tato vakshami tehitam. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha shrunu me paramam vachaha. Most among all kinds of confidential, the most confident, sarva guhyatamam bhuyaha shrunu me. Now I'm going to tell you a very confidential thing. Please listen carefully. Paramam vachaha. So many instructions I have given you before. This is my supreme instruction. Right? Most confidential. My supreme instruction. When Krishna is saying that, this should bring us to the edge of our seat. And very attentively hear, yeah, what is this? That's why Krishna is prefacing, before he says the most confidential knowledge, he's prefacing, so that we become alert to this. And then he says, Ishtosi me drudamiti. Because you are drudham, ishtam. Very significant words. Because you are dear to me, not just dear to me, you're very dear to me. Ishtosi me drudamiti tato vakshami. Hence, I am speaking this to you. Tehitam, it's for your benefit. It's for your good. Please listen. Shri. So here, Krishna is saying, this is a confidential knowledge that he would share only with those who are very dear to him. Not with XYZ people. And Arjuna is very dear to him. So he shares this. So, bhaktosi me sakacheti, anasuyave, drudham ishtam. These are the qualifications that Krishna is saying for one to have access to this confidential knowledge. So, after this, Krishna mentions in 2 verses, what is this paramam vachaha, this param guhyam knowledge. And then after that, he again says, don't share this knowledge with anyone who is not a devotee, who is not austere, who is not serious, who is not eager, and one who is not envious of me. With those who are envious of me, don't share this. So again, apyasuyati. Krishna once again is saying, this is not meant for those who are envious of me. So Krishna has repeatedly said that. This is not meant for those who are envious of me. So this is not meant for those who are envious of him. And what is this confidential knowledge? These are the 2 things we will just understand. Now, after saying this in the 18th chapter, Sarva guhyatamam bhuya shanume paramam vachaha ishtosi me drudamiti tato vakshyami tehitam. In the next verse, Krishna says, next 2 verses, what is this confidential knowledge? The confidential knowledge. First verse is, Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namastu. Mameva eshyati satyam te pratijane priyosi me. And the next verse after that is Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. These are the two verses. Now, sometimes even I had this doubt for a long time. What is so special about these two verses? Krishna said, now I'm going to tell you most confidential, this is my final word, finally, paramam vachaha. Manmana bhavavat bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Four things. Think of me. Manmana bhavavat bhakto, become my devotee. Madhyaji, offer your obeisance to me. Mam namaskuru. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru, offer your respects to me. Looks like very simple, right? Even small children in ISKCON, they all do that. It looks like it's a simple instruction. Srila Prabhupada clarifies this. Actually, Prabhupada translates this also carefully. The word manmana means to fill your mind with me. That's what Krishna is saying. Manmana, to fill your mind with me. Madbhakta, to become his devotee. Madhyaji, to worship him. Man namaskuru, offer respects to him. So, Prabhupada explains, to fill your mind with Krishna, you can fill your mind with somebody only when you love that person. Otherwise, you cannot fill your mind with that person. Mothers, they fill their minds with love for their children. When the child has gone to the school, everything the child was using, when the mother sees, the mother feels, oh, this is my child's. Because of the love. And another example given by our acharyas is another occasion when the love is very intense, is when a young boy has fallen in love with a young girl. He's always thinking of her and she's always thinking of him. It's the love that actually enables. The girl does not have to tell the boy, at least once a day you think of me. No, always he is thinking of her. Right? We have seen in our Indian films, the hero just met the heroine somewhere in the park. And some chemistry happened between them. And he's come home. He's only thinking something. And the mother comes and lays the plate before him. But he's thinking. After 5 minutes, she comes, the plate is as it is. And then she taps him. Oh, what is that you are thinking, my dear son? Oh, nothing, mother. Right? This is because of love. Actually, from our philosophical point of view, we don't call it love, we call it lust. But that's okay. At the level of vyavaharic conversation, that's called love. So, you will think of a person always when you love. In other words, what Krishna is saying is, love me. You cannot tell this, love me, to a stranger. You cannot tell this, love me, to somebody who does not care for you. Only to somebody with whom you have a strong relationship, you will share this. You cannot go to the street somewhere and somebody is walking and then you call, hey, 1 second, hold on, please love me. He'll slap you. Especially if it's a woman, you'll run into even serious problem. You can't do that. It's serious. You can't go to the neighbor and say, please love me. Can't even do that. So, Krishna, he's measuring his words carefully. In the Vedic literatures, this aspect is very carefully concealed and gradually revealed when the people become appropriately qualified. Otherwise, it's hidden. It is confidential. It's interesting. Now, coming to this professor's question, where are we envious of God? If you see the psychologist's definition of envy, envy technically, psychologically is defined as two things, two feelings are involved in envy. One is resentful awareness of the advantages of another person, combined with a desire to possess those advantages oneself, is called envy, technically. It's a good definition. Resentful awareness of the advantages of another person. You are aware of the other person's advantages, but you are resentful about it. You are not happy about it. Combined with the desire to possess those advantages oneself. Actually, this is a fact. We are envious of Krishna. What is Krishna's position? Many places Krishna has explained his position in the Bhagavad Gita. One of the places, important verse, Prabhupada quotes this many times. Krishna says, Bhoktaram yatna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suhrudum sarvabhutanam gnatva mamsham nivrijjati. Krishna is saying in this verse three important characteristics of his position. One is, Krishna is the supreme enjoyer. Here again, Prabhupada's translations are very significant. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Krishna is the enjoyer of all yajna and tapasa, austerities, sacrifice and austerities. You can make a very, in a religious context, you can make a translation of this, and that is, Krishna is the enjoyer of all sacrifices and austerities. Right? In other words, if a sacrifice is performed, ultimately Krishna is the enjoyer. You may do a Chandi Homa, but ultimately, there also the intention is Krishna is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. That's the intent. Avidi Purvakam, without proper knowledge and understanding, one may do. That's a different thing. But ultimately, Krishna is the enjoyer of all sacrifices. That is Krishna's position. Another alternate reading of this verse, Srila Prabhupada explains this way, is we may sacrifice something in this world. We may undertake some tapasya, austerity in this world. All of such sacrifices and austerities, any hardship we take, should ultimately be for Krishna's pleasure. Somebody may be working hard in the business. You may be a businessman. You have to sacrifice something. Your wife is calling, are you coming home? It's already 8 o'clock in the night. No, I have some more work to do. This man is sacrificing. His wife is calling, children, Papa, you have not come home? Yes, I'll come better. Wait. He's doing business. Some more customers have come. So this businessman, he's sacrificing. And he starts his work at 5 a.m. thinking about his business. So he's rising early. This is austerity. So there is austerity and sacrifice even in business. So Krishna should be the enjoyer of your business. That is the understanding. So Krishna's position is that he is actually the enjoyer. Now, somebody may think that, okay, you are saying Krishna is the enjoyer, not me. What about me? The point is, we are related to Krishna in such a way. If we make Krishna happy, if we serve Krishna, we become happy. That is why Prabhupada gives that story, Udarendriyana. It's a wonderful story. One day, all the senses of the body, they had a meeting. And all the senses of the body, all the different parts of the body described all the hard work they do. Legs said, I carry the whole weight of the body. And this man, 80 kilos now. And still I'm carrying it. Right? And the hand said, oh, I do all the hard work. And the eyes said, I'm always peering and looking around, any danger, everything is good, constant safety, protection, all that I'm ensuring. The eyes said, like that, all the different parts of the body described how much hard work they are doing. And they all said, just look at Mr. Stomach. He doesn't do anything. And all the hard work we do, he enjoys. Legs walk around, hands work hard and get earn money and then buy good food and then it goes to the stomach. He does nothing at all. It's really unfair. You know, we all are working hard and he's sitting there doing nothing and he's enjoying. It's unfair. So they said, let's do it, go on a strike. And legs said, yes, I will not move. Hand said, I will not move. Eyes said, I will not taste. Tongue said, I will not taste. Nose said, I will not smell. No food. No food went to the stomach. 4 hours. You can imagine, 4 hours, no food. Okay, maybe we can manage. 12 hours. Oh, you can start becoming uncomfortable. 24 hours, no food. The legs were shivering, hands lost their strength, eyes were barely able to open. And they all had another emergency meeting. Looks like things are not going on well. How about you? And everyone said, no. All of the parts of the body were becoming weak. And they said, I think, let's call off the strike. And they immediately went and got some food and put the food into the stomach. And the moment the food was put in the stomach, in just a few seconds, a few minutes, they all became energized. Udara Indriyana. Udara, stomach. Indriyana, all the different parts of the body. The different parts of the body, they are meant to serve the stomach. And when they serve the stomach, and when the stomach enjoys, stomach gets fulfilled, the parts of the body are so connected to the stomach, they are so related to the stomach, that when the stomach is fulfilled, parts of the body become energized. In the same way, we as living entities, we are so connected to Krishna, when we give him pleasure, we become blissful and happy. This is the connection. So we are meant for serving him. But that service should not be official service. Then it is not pleasing. Official service means like government officials do their work. You go at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to your government office. They've already packed up all the files and locked up and they are waiting. 5 o'clock they want waiting to go. At 4 o'clock you go and say, hey, you come too late. Tomorrow you come and look into your file. There are some government officials here, please don't mistake. Don't get me wrong. Many of you could be, but generally. Right? So there's no harm. So that kind of a service is not what Krishna is looking. Krishna is looking for loving service. So that loving relationship is essential. But Bhoktaram Yagnastapasam, Krishna's position is to be the enjoyer. Here in this world, what is each one thinking? I want to be the enjoyer. Every moment, every second, every opportunity that passes by in front of our eyes, we think how I can enjoy it. Actually, Krishna's position is to be the enjoyer. We are thinking, I want to enjoy. You see? Bhoktaram Yagna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I am the controller, I am the proprietor of all the planets. Here in this world, we try to be the controller, we try to be the proprietor. Isn't it? Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarvabhutanam. I am the friend of all living entities. In this world, we try to become the friend of all people, all living entities. Actual position is, it is Krishna's position to be the friend. So Krishna's position is to be the supreme enjoyer, supreme controller and proprietor, and supreme friend of everyone. And we trying to take up that position in this world. So trying to take up Krishna's position is envy. That is envious. Now another explanation of envy of the Lord that Prabhupada gives is not willing to accept Krishna's words as it is. Krishna is saying, I am the Supreme. Mattha parataram nanyam kichidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam supremani gadayam. This is my position. I am the Supreme. There is no principle higher than or equal to me, even kinchit. Kinchidasti dhananjaya. There is nothing higher than me. But still we don't accept His words as it is. We doubt. We don't want to accept His words. This is another indication of envy of the Lord. Not willing to accept the Lord's position. Just say, imagine an expert in a certain subject tells you this is this. A retired judge tells you something about the law, legal position. You will take it very seriously. You want to figure out your taxes and all that. You go to your chartered accountant and the chartered accountant says, don't do this. You will run into a problem. You will take it seriously. He's chartered accountant after all. He's tax expert. So in the same way, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, He is making a statement. How seriously we should take it. This is how Arjuna took it. If you remember reading in the introduction of the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says, just like a medicine bottle has instruction on the label, and if we take the medicine according to the instruction, we will get cured. In the same way, Bhagavad Gita should be accepted as it is directed in the Bhagavad Gita. What is the direction in the Bhagavad Gita? How we should take Bhagavad Gita? There are many instructions. One of them is in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. How Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna says, Sarvame Rutham Manye Yadmam Vadasi Keshava. Keshava, Krishna, whatever you are saying, I will take that as the highest truth, as the truth. I will not question, I will not doubt, I will take it seriously, with gravity, as the truth. Sarvame Rutham Manye, Rutham Manye, Rutham means truth. I consider Manye. Sarvameta Pratam Manye Yadmam Vadasi Keshava Mam Vadasi Keshava Sarvam Pratam Manye. Whatever you have spoken to me, I'll take it as the gospel truth. I'll take it as the final truth. This is how Arjuna accepted Bhagavad Gita. That's how we must accept Bhagavad Gita. Not always commentators accept Krishna's position. Hence, they cannot represent Krishna properly. So, in this world, there are people who are envious of Krishna, manifested in the form of either defiance or disinterest or doubtful. Different shades of people are there. Many times you go to somebody and tell something about Krishna, they'll say, oh, it's too early now, later on we'll see. I've told this story also. I had once a visitor. You know, one devotee was trying to join the temple. He was just finished his college and he was working. And his parents became very upset that he was trying to join. So his parents, big family, group of family, they came and met me. And so the boy came, and then his father, mother, grandfather, he introduced everybody. And so I said, Hare Krishna, yes, what do you want to say? And then the grandfather said, I will say. Wait. And then I said, okay, please tell me. And the grandfather said, you see, I am 76 years old. This boy, he's only 23 years old. Only Bhagavad Gita, he is saying. Even to us in the house, he is telling Bhagavad Gita. I am 76 years old. Even today, I have not read Bhagavad Gita. Look at this. What have you done to him? This was their complaint. People are not interested.